Sometimes in life, we chase big things thinking they will bring us happiness. A bigger house, a better phone, a higher salary, a fancier lifestyle. But the truth is, life doesn't become beautiful because of what we collect. Life becomes beautiful because of what we connect with, Real beauty in life comes from the small yet powerful treasures that we often overlook. Kindness, gratitude, love, purpose, simplicity, peace, and meaningful relationships. You see, life is like a garden. If we plant the right seeds, we enjoy flowers. If we neglect it, weeds take over. Many people spend years watering the weed of stress, fertilizing the soil of competition, and trimming the branches of ego, yet they wonder why their garden looks so dull. But the moment you start watering the seeds of gratitude, compassion, and contentment, life begins to bloom beautifully. Life becomes beautiful when you have gratitude, because gratitude turns chaos into clarity. It turns lack into abundance. It turns complaints into contentment. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems. It's about recognizing blessings that still exist despite the problems. Life becomes beautiful when you have relationships that uplift you, not drain you. When people misunderstand you, criticize you, or judge you, life feels heavy. But when you find those few rare souls who encourage your dreams, understand your silence, and stand by you even when you're not at your best, then life becomes something worth celebrating. Life becomes beautiful when you understand peace over perfection. Chasing perfection is exhausting, but choosing peace is liberating. Peace gives you the courage to walk away from things that steal your joy and walk toward things that build your soul. Life becomes beautiful when you have purpose. When you wake up with a reason beyond your own comfort, your days gain meaning. Purpose transforms routine into responsibility and responsibility into fulfillment. Life becomes beautiful when you learn to let go. Let go of grudges, let go of overthinking, let go of trying to control everything. Because life is not meant to be gripped tightly. It is meant to be held gently. Life becomes beautiful when you choose kindness, not because others deserve it, but because it reflects who you are. Kindness is a silent whisper of the heart that says, I want to leave the world slightly better than I found it. Life becomes beautiful when you have faith, even when the path looks uncertain. Faith doesn't remove the storms. It gives you an anchor so the storm doesn't remove you. And above all, life becomes beautiful when you understand that happiness is not found in having everything, but in appreciating everything you have. The beauty of life is always present. We just need the right lens to see it. So take a look. The beauty of life is already around you. Just open your heart, slow down a little, and you will realize you already have more than enough to create a beautiful life. When we truly pause and observe life, we realize that the beauty of our journey does not come from the things we accumulate, but from the connections we build along the way. People often spend their entire lives chasing achievements, wealth, and possessions, believing that these things will eventually make them feel fulfilled. They keep climbing ladders, collecting trophies, expanding their bank accounts, and updating their lifestyles. But at the end of the day, when the lights are off and silence fills the room, what really brings peace to the heart is not the material abundance, but the emotional connections that surround us. The joy of sharing your success with someone, the comfort of being understood, the warmth of having someone who listens, and the peace of knowing that you are not walking alone. These are the real treasures that make life beautiful. Life becomes meaningful when we genuinely connect with others at a deeper level, beyond superficial conversations and temporary interactions. When we meet people who see us for who we truly are, not just for what we appear to be, life gains a richness no possession can ever offer. A simple conversation with a sincere friend can heal a tired heart more than an expensive vacation. A hug from a loved one can bring more comfort than any luxurious comfort we try to buy. A moment of shared laughter, a gesture of understanding, or a silent presence during tough times can feel more valuable than any material gift one could receive. Sometimes we get so busy building our careers that we forget to build our relationships. We spend endless energy networking with people for opportunities, but forget to nurture those who stand with us without any expectations. It is surprising how often we underestimate the importance of connection until we find ourselves feeling lonely despite having everything we once dreamed of. Loneliness does not come from being alone. It comes from being surrounded by people with whom we cannot share our soul. But when we have genuine connections, even ordinary days feel extraordinary. Life becomes beautiful when we learn to value presence over presence. Presence has the power to heal wounds that cannot be touched physically. When someone sits beside you during your difficult moments, without judgment and without hurry, they are giving you something far greater than anything money can buy. And when you offer that same presence to someone else, you begin to understand the true beauty of being human. The world teaches us to chase success, but the heart teaches us to cherish connection. We often talk about success as if it is a destination, but genuine connection makes the journey itself worth living. Success without someone to celebrate with feels incomplete. Comfort without companionship feels hollow. And achievement without appreciation feels empty. But when you have someone who cheers for you, someone who prays for you, someone who supports you even when the world doubts you, life becomes a celebration, even in small moments. The reality is that life's most beautiful moments are rooted in connection. A heartfelt conversation over tea, a walk with someone who understands your silence, a smile exchanged during a difficult day, or a comforting word offered when hope feels distant. These are the moments that stay with you, shape you, and remind you that you are not alone. Because in the end, the true beauty of life emerges not from what we own, but from those we hold close to our hearts. Gratitude is one of the most powerful yet underrated practices that can transform the way we experience life. It is not about having a perfect life. It is about recognizing the perfection hidden within the imperfections, When we begin to appreciate the small blessings that surround us, the ones we often take for granted, life slowly shifts from feeling heavy to feeling hopeful. Gratitude does not magically erase problems, but it changes the way we carry them. It turns obstacles into opportunities for growth, and it turns ordinary days into extraordinary gifts. Many people wait for big miracles to feel grateful. They believe happiness will come when they achieve massive success, when everything falls into place, or when all their desires are fulfilled. But gratitude is not a destination, it is a perspective. You don't wait to feel thankful, you choose to be thankful. And this choice, made consistently, changes the tone of your entire life. When you wake up in the morning and consciously appreciate the breath in your lungs, the roof over your head, the food on your table, and the people who care about you, you begin to realize that life has already given you so much more than you acknowledge. Gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what is already present. Our minds naturally focus on lack. It is a human tendency to pay more attention to what we don't have rather than appreciating what we do. This mindset creates stress, dissatisfaction, and a constant feeling of not enough. But the moment you start recognizing the blessings that surround you, even the smallest ones, something beautiful happens. You feel content. Contentment does not mean you stop dreaming. It means you stop complaining while pursuing those dreams. In times of difficulty, gratitude becomes even more important. When life challenges you, gratitude acts as an anchor. It reminds you that even in the storm, some things are still stable, still working, still supporting you. You may be going through a tough phase, but gratitude shows you the strength you still possess, the lessons you are learning, and the people who still stand by you. It helps you shift your mind from, is this happening to me, to, what is this teaching me? Gratitude also changes the way you treat others. When you appreciate the people in your life, you begin to value them more deeply. You become kinder, more patient, and more understanding. You stop taking their presence for granted and start acknowledging their efforts. This strengthens your relationships and creates deeper bonds based on respect and affection. People who practice gratitude naturally radiate warmth. They see the good in others, speak with softness, and act with generosity. Even in moments of loneliness or disappointment, gratitude helps you reconnect with the world. It reminds you that despite what went wrong, there are still things going right. The sunlight that touches your face, the air that fills your lungs, the lessons that shape your character, the memories that warm your heart, and the hopes that still live within you. All of these are gifts that deserve your attention. Gratitude is not about denying the reality of pain. It is about embracing the reality of blessings. When you allow gratitude to enter your life, everything begins to shift. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you respond, and the way you grow. It transforms lack into abundance, stress into peace, and life into something truly beautiful. Uplifting relationships have the power to shape the entire journey of our lives. There is something profoundly comforting about knowing that you don't have to walk through life alone. When you have people who truly uplift you, who understand your struggles, celebrate your victories, and stand beside you without conditions, life naturally becomes lighter, brighter, and more meaningful. These relationships don't have to be many. Even one genuine connection can be more valuable than 1,000 superficial ones. In a world where people often come with expectations, judgments, and comparisons, finding individuals who simply want to see you happy is one of the greatest blessings. When someone uplifts you, they don't just give you company, they give you courage. They remind you of your strengths on days when you forget them. They speak life into you when the world tries to drain it out. Their presence becomes a soft cushion during your fall and a loud cheer during your rise. Life's journey is unpredictable. Sometimes you're soaring high, and sometimes you're crawling through shadows. In both moments, uplifting relationships play a crucial role. In your highs, they keep you grounded, and in your lows, they lift you up. Many people feel lonely not because they lack people around them, but because they lack meaningful connection. You can be surrounded by a crowd yet feel completely unseen. But with the right people, even silent moments become healing. Their presence itself speaks louder than words. No explanations needed, no masks required, and no pretending necessary. You can be yourself without fear of judgment. You can share your vulnerabilities without worrying about being misunderstood. You can express your dreams without feeling discouraged. This level of emotional safety is rare, and when you find it, you should cherish it with your whole heart. Uplifting relationships also hold you accountable in a gentle way. They don't just encourage your dreams, they guide you back when you drift away, remind you of your values when you get lost, and help you refocus when life becomes blurry. They care not only about your comfort, but also about your growth. They don't flatter you to make you feel good temporarily. They speak truth in a way that helps you become better permanently. Their intention is never to control you, but to support who you are becoming. Life becomes beautiful when the people around you add to your peace instead of taking from it. Being with uplifting people feels like breathing fresh air after being stuck in a crowded room. Their energy inspires you. Their words strengthen you. Their presence soothes you. They don't complicate your life. They simplify it. They don't drain you, they refill you. And most importantly, they don't pull you down. They bring out the best version of you. What truly defines an uplifting relationship is not constant perfection, but consistent presence. Even if they are far away, even if you don't talk every day, their connection remains steady. They show up when it matters. They listen when you need to speak. They guide when you need direction. And they stay when others walk away. These are the people who remind you that love still exists, trust still exists, loyalty still exists, and kindness still exists. Life may give you many things: success, comfort, recognition. But if you lack uplifting relationships, something will always feel incomplete. Because at the end of the day, the heart doesn't seek luxury. It seeks connection. It seeks understanding. It seeks warmth. And when you have people who uplift you with sincerity and love, life becomes something truly beautiful. To experience that peace is one of the greatest gifts you can offer yourself. And yet, many people spend their entire lives chasing perfection instead of seeking peace. Perfection demands constant effort, constant comparison, and constant pressure, while peace simply asks for acceptance of yourself, others, and of life as it unfolds. When you choose peace over perfection, you begin to experience life in a completely different way. You stop running behind unrealistic expectations and start appreciating the beauty of the present moment. You stop trying to control everything and start trusting the flow of life. And slowly life begins to feel lighter, calmer, and more meaningful. Perfection is a trap that convinces you that you must always be better, do better, and look better. It creates pressure that often steals the joy from your achievements. Even when you accomplish something great, perfection whispers, you could have done more. In this way, perfection constantly moves the finish line. But peace allows you to pause, breathe, and appreciate how far you've come. It lets you enjoy progress instead of obsessing over flaws. Peace tells you that it's okay to be human, to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow at your own pace. So many people think they need a perfect job, perfect family, perfect relationship, perfect body, perfect future. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. Nobody's a flawless life. What people actually need is peace of mind. Peace gives you the strength to survive storms, the wisdom to handle challenges, and the emotional stability to stay calm even when things don't go your way. Peace does not mean the absence of problems, it means the presence of clarity despite problems. Choosing peace over perfection also changes how you relate to others. When you expect perfection from people, you get disappointed easily. You start focusing on what they lack instead of noticing their efforts. You get irritated by small imperfections and forget the larger emotional bond. But when you choose peace, you begin to understand people more deeply. You give them space to be themselves. You forgive more easily, communicate more gently, and appreciate them more sincerely. Peace preserves relationships. Perfection pressures them. Internally, peace brings a sense of quiet strength. It helps you detach from unnecessary arguments, drama, and negativity. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself constantly or win every battle. You start choosing silence over chaos, understanding over reaction, and calmness over anger. This shift doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. You learn that not every situation deserves your energy, and not every comment needs your response. Peace helps you save your emotional strength for things that truly matter. When you choose peace, you start living life instead of performing life. You stop worrying about how others see you and start caring about how you feel inside. You stop living for validation and start living for fulfillment. Peace helps you sleep better at night, think more clearly during the day, and carry a gentleness that others can feel even without words. It takes courage to let go of perfection because perfection feels like control, but peace feels like freedom. And in that freedom, you rediscover yourself. You rediscover joy, simplicity, presence, and gratitude. Life becomes beautiful not because everything is perfect, but because your heart is finally at peace with what is God's purpose, is the quiet force that gives direction to our days, meaning to our struggles, and value to our efforts. Without purpose, life feels like a journey without a map, moving but not arriving, busy but not fulfilled. Many people wake up every morning, go through the motions, complete their tasks, and return home feeling empty. Not because they are doing less, but because what they are doing lacks meaning. Purpose doesn't always come from grand missions or heroic responsibilities. Sometimes it arises from simple acts that make a difference, from small responsibilities done with sincerity, and from the awareness that your existence carries impact. When you have purpose, every day begins to feel intentional. Even challenges feel worthwhile because you know they are shaping you for something bigger. Hard work no longer feels like a burden, it becomes an investment. Purpose gives you the strength to endure difficulties because your heart knows exactly why you are moving forward. It transforms ordinary routines into meaningful rituals and turns repetitive tasks into contributions that matter. Purpose is not always discovered suddenly. Often it reveals itself slowly through experiences, through failures, through moments of clarity, and through people who guide you toward your potential. Sometimes it emerges when you help someone, when your actions ease another person's pain, or when you realize that something inside you becomes alive when you support, create, teach, or serve. Purpose is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers, but when you listen to it, life becomes clearer. Life becomes clearer. People often think their purpose must be something big, becoming a leader, changing the world, building an empire. But purpose simply means living in a way where your actions carry meaning. A mother raising a child with love has purpose. A teacher shaping a student's future has purpose. A friend supporting someone through a tough phase has purpose. A person choosing kindness in a harsh world has purpose. Purpose is not measured by size. It is measured by sincerity and impact. When you find your purpose, decisions become easier. You stop wasting energy on things that don't align with your path. You recognize what deserves your attention and what does not. Purpose acts like an inner compass guiding you away from distractions, negativity, and unnecessary battles. It gives clarity, focus, and emotional stability. Even when life becomes difficult, purpose keeps you grounded and motivated, reminding you that every effort is shaping a meaningful future. There is a deep fulfillment that comes from knowing you are living for something greater than your comfort. Purpose pushes you to grow, to learn, to evolve, and to step out of your comfort zone. It teaches you discipline when your mind feels lazy, courage when your heart feels afraid, and patience when your journey feels slow. Purpose is the fuel that keeps your spirit alive even when your body feels tired. When you have purpose, happiness becomes more stable. It no longer depends on temporary pleasures or external validation. Instead, it rises from within. Because you know your life matters, your actions matter, and your presence matters. You feel connected to something bigger than yourself, something that makes your days meaningful and your nights restful. Purpose turns existence into experience, work into contribution, and life into a beautiful journey worth living. It reminds you that you are not here just to survive. You are here to create, to serve, to grow, and to leave a gentle imprint on the world. Letting go is one of the most powerful yet most challenging arts of life. We often hold on to things far longer than they deserve. Painful memories, grudges, past mistakes, disappointments, expectations, and even people who no longer walk with us. We cling to them because a part of us believes that holding on somehow protects us, gives us control, keeps us connected to what once mattered. But in reality, holding on to what hurts only weighs the heart down. It becomes an invisible burden that slows our steps, clouds our thoughts, and keeps us from experiencing the freedom and joy waiting ahead. Letting go is not about forgetting. It is about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that no longer serve you. It doesn't mean the past didn't matter. It means you're choosing to no longer let it control your present. Many times, the pain we experience is not because of what happened, but because of our refusal to loosen our grip on the memory of it. We replay conversations, revisit moments, and relive situations hoping they will somehow change. But the past cannot be altered. Only our relationship with it can be. When you learn to let go, you begin to understand that not every person, situation, or chapter is meant to stay. Some people come to teach lessons, some to offer blessings, and some to simply guide you from one phase of life to another. When you try to hold on to those who were meant to be temporary, you end up hurting yourself. Letting go allows you to honor what they brought into your life without allowing their absence to break you. Similarly, letting go of grudges is a form of emotional self-care. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy stone in your heart. You feel its weight every time you breathe. Bitterness and revenge do not hurt the other person. They hurt you. They steal your peace, disturb your sleep, and poison your joy. When you choose forgiveness, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace, you remove that stone from your heart. You lighten your own journey. Letting go also means releasing the need to control everything. We plan our lives in detail, expecting everything to follow the script we wrote in our minds. But life does not operate according to our plans. Sometimes things fall apart, so better things can fall together. Gaur? Sometimes people leave to make space for those who truly belong. Sometimes endings are actually beginnings disguised in pain. And when we finally loosen our grip, life begins to guide us gently toward where we are meant to be. Letting go of overthinking is equally important. The mind loves to cling to scenarios. What if? Why me? What will happen next? Overthinking creates storms that never existed. It drains energy, creates fear, and magnifies problems. But when you release the need to analyze everything, you regain clarity. You learn to trust the process, to trust your strength, and to trust that life unfolds with its own wisdom. Letting go is an act of faith, faith in yourself, faith in the future, and faith that what is meant for you will always find you. When you release what weighs you down, your heart becomes lighter, your mind becomes calmer, and your path becomes clearer. You make space for peace, for growth, for healing, and for new beginnings. Letting go is not losing. It is choosing yourself over the pain that once held you back. Kindness is a silent strength that has the power to transform not just the world around us, but the world within us. It doesn't require wealth, status, or extraordinary talent. It simply requires a heart willing to care and a mind willing to understand. In a society where people are often in a hurry, stressed, distracted, or fighting silent battles, kindness becomes a rare and precious gift. Even the smallest act of kindness, a gentle word, a patient ear, a sincere smile, creates ripples that reach far beyond what we can see. What makes kindness so powerful is that it comes from a place of intention rather than obligation. It reflects who you are, not what others deserve. Many times, people may not treat you well, they may misunderstand you, or they may respond with coldness, but choosing kindness is choosing your own character over someone else's behavior. It is choosing to rise above negativity instead of sinking into it. When you respond with kindness, even when others don't, you protect your inner peace and preserve the purity of your heart. Kindness also strengthens relationships in a way that logic alone cannot. People remember how you made them feel more than anything you ever said. A small act of thoughtfulness during someone's difficult moment can become a lifelong memory. When you listen without judging, support without conditions, or guide without controlling, you show a form of love that words can never fully express. Kindness builds trust, deepens bonds, and creates emotional safety, something everyone silently craves. And what many people don't realize is that kindness is also a form of wisdom. It requires emotional maturity to act with gentleness, even when your ego wants to react with anger. It requires strength to stay compassionate in a world that often chooses indifference. It requires patience to see beyond someone's harsh words and recognize the pain they might be hiding. Kindness isn't weakness. It is the courage to remain soft in a world that tries to harden you. Often, the people who appear the strongest are the ones carrying the heaviest burdens. The person who seems rude may be battling loneliness. The one who loses their temper easily may be overwhelmed by stress. The one who doesn't smile may be fighting an unseen struggle. A kind heart sees beyond the surface. It understands that everyone is dealing with something. When you act with kindness, you offer healing without even realizing it. Kindness is also a mirror. Whatever you give eventually returns to you. It may not come back instantly or from the same person, but life has a way of rewarding those who choose goodness. A kind heart attracts peace, respect, and genuine affection. You begin to meet people who reflect the same energy you give. Your surroundings start to feel lighter because you are not contributing to negativity but balancing it with compassion. Even towards yourself, kindness plays a crucial role. Many people are harsher on themselves than they would ever be on others. They criticize, blame, and judge themselves for every mistake. But self-kindness teaches you to embrace your imperfections, forgive your past, and treat your own heart with the same tenderness you offer to others. When you are kind to yourself, you grow healthier from the inside. You develop confidence, resilience, and emotional balance. In a world where many people chase success, fame, and recognition, kindness remains one of the purest forms of greatness. It makes you memorable in the hearts of others. It leaves footprints long after you leave the room. It uplifts, heals, and inspires in ways that no material achievement can. Kindness is a gentle light, and when you carry this light within you, illuminate the lives of others. And your own life becomes beautiful in the process. Faith is one of those quiet strengths that often goes unnoticed, yet it shapes the entire foundation of our emotional and spiritual life. It is the inner reassurance that even the path is unclear, you are still being guided. It is the calm voice whispering, keep going, even everything around you seems to be falling apart. Faith doesn't mean you will never face storms. It means you have an anchor that keeps you steady in the midst of them. It gives you the courage to move forward when logic tells you to stop and the patience to wait when your heart is desperate for answers. There are moments in life when things don't make sense, when your plans collapse, your expectations break, and your dreams feel distant. In such moments, many people lose hope because they rely solely on what they can see. But faith invites you to trust the unseen. It encourages you to believe that every closed door is redirecting you, every delay is protecting you, and every challenge is preparing you. Faith transforms confusion into clarity, not by changing the situation instantly, but by strengthening your ability to endure it. Faith also teaches acceptance. There are times when you won't understand why something happened or why something didn't. You may question your struggles, your timing, and even yourself. But faith helps you surrender the need for immediate answers. It reminds you that life has a rhythm, a timing, and a wisdom beyond your understanding. When you trust this process, you stop fighting the flow and start aligning yourself with it. This alignment brings an unexpected peace, even in the presence of unanswered questions. In relationships, in careers, and personal dreams, faith gives you the strength to hold on when everything feels uncertain. It allows you to keep trying even after failures. It helps you believe in your worth even when the world dismisses it. It encourages you to rise after falling, to smile after crying, and to hope after being disappointed. Faith tells you that darkness is temporary and dawn is inevitable. It reminds you that nothing stays the same. Pain evolves, wounds heal, seasons change, and life continues to move. Faith also nurtures humility. It reminds you that you are not in control of every detail. And that is okay. You don't need to have all the answers, and you don't need to carry every burden alone. When you trust a higher wisdom, you lighten the load on your shoulders. You begin to understand that your responsibility is to show up, put in the effort, remain sincere, and leave the rest to time, destiny, or divine grace. Whatever your heart believes in. This surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. Faith strengthens your character in ways comfort never will. It builds patience because you learn to wait. It builds resilience because you learn to endure. It builds gratitude because you begin to recognize blessings even in difficult moments. It builds perspective because you start seeing the bigger picture instead of getting trapped in temporary struggle. Even in the darkest moments, faith acts as a flicker of light, small but enough to guide you. Sometimes that flicker is hope, sometimes it is courage, sometimes it is intuition, and sometimes it is simply the belief that this too shall pass. And that belief alone has the power to keep your heart steady. Faith is not about knowing what the future holds. It is about trusting that whatever the future holds, you will be able to face it with strength and grace. It is the quiet companion that walks with you through uncertainty, reminding you that you are never alone, never unsupported, and never without purpose. Grows naturally when we learn to appreciate what we already have, instead of constantly chasing what we don't. In today's world, many people have forgotten this simple truth. They run behind bigger dreams, bigger status, bigger comfort, thinking that happiness is hiding somewhere in the distance, somewhere in the next achievement, the next promotion, the next purchase, or the next milestone. But when happiness depends on something external, it becomes temporary. It becomes temporary. The moment that thing fades, the happiness fades with it. Appreciation, however, creates a more permanent form of joy because it arises from within, not from the outside world. Every day we experience countless blessings that silently brighten our lives, yet we often overlook them. The comfort of waking up in a home, the privilege of having food to eat, the ability to breathe free, the presence of people who care for us, the opportunities we have, the lessons we've survived, and the strength we still carry. These are not small things. These are miracles in disguise. But when the mind is trained to look only at what is missing, even the most precious gifts go unnoticed. Appreciation trains the heart to see abundance instead of lack. It shifts your focus from what is wrong to what is right. And this shift alone can transform your emotional landscape. When you appreciate the ordinary moments, they turn extraordinary. Drinking a cup of tea, spending a quiet moment alone, walking under the sky, laughing with a friend, listening to music, holding someone's hand. These may seem small, but they carry immense beauty. Life is not measured by how grand your moments are, but by how deeply you feel them. When you learn to appreciate, every moment becomes richer, deeper, more alive. Appreciation also softens the heart. It reduces complaints and increases contentment. Instead of feeling stressed about what you lack, you feel grateful for what you have been given. You stop comparing your life with others and start valuing your own path. Comparison destroys happiness because it creates a false standard of success. But appreciation builds happiness because it reminds you of what truly matters. You realize that every person is walking their own journey and your blessings are uniquely yours. Even during difficult times, appreciation acts like a gentle light. Gentle light. It doesn't remove the darkness, but it reminds you that there are stars still shining. When life becomes overwhelming, appreciating small things, your breath, your strength, your resilience, your support system helps soften the weight on your heart. It reminds you that pain and blessing often coexist. And even in struggle, goodness still surrounds you. Appreciation also improves relationships. When you value the presence, effort, and love of the people around you, the bond strengthens. People often crave acknowledgement more than anything else. A simple thank you or I appreciate you can heal wounds, deepen trust, and bring hearts closer. When appreciation becomes part of your lifestyle, your relationships flourish naturally because people feel seen, valued, and loved. Most importantly, appreciation builds inner peace. It frees you from the endless chase of more. It helps you slow down, breathe, and enjoy the journey. You begin to understand that happiness is not something you will achieve one day. It is something you can experience every day in small doses through simple gratitude. Appreciation reminds you that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. You don't need everything to feel happy. You just need the awareness to recognize the blessings already in your hands. Happiness grows effortlessly when the heart learns to appreciate what it has instead of longing endlessly for what it doesn't. Life's beauty is always around us, yet so often we fail to notice it because our hearts and minds are distracted. We get caught up in the routines, challenges, and pressures of everyday living. And in doing so, we forget to pause and truly observe. The sky, the trees, the laughter of a child, the warmth of a smile, the gentle touch of a friend. These are not ordinary moments. They are fragments of life's poetry that quietly remind us that beauty is not somewhere else. It is here waiting for us to notice it. The problem is not that life is lacking beauty, but that our attention is scattered, our awareness is limited, and our hearts are preoccupied with what we don't have rather than what is already present. When we slow down, even the simplest things become profound. A morning breeze can feel like a blessing. A cup of tea can feel like a luxury. A conversation with a loved one can feel like treasure. These small moments, when observed deeply, have the power to uplift our spirits more than any grand achievement ever could. Life's beauty is subtle, not loud. It is hidden in the ordinary, waiting for a conscious heart to recognize it. Once you start noticing it, you begin to realize that every day carries countless reasons to smile, be grateful, and feel alive. Being present is key to seeing this beauty. When the mind wanders into the past or races toward the future, we miss what is right in front of us. We may walk through a park without seeing the flowers, cross a street without noticing the sunshine, or sit beside someone without appreciating their presence. Life is happening in the present moment, and the beauty of it exists in how fully we engage with it. Awareness transforms the mundane into the magnificent. It turns ordinary routines into sacred rituals, and it turns simple interactions into meaningful connections. Another reason we often miss life's beauty is that we expect it to be dramatic. We think beauty must be extravagant, extraordinary, or perfect. But in reality, beauty is quiet, patient, and humble. It exists in the imperfections, the surprises, the small joys, and the fleeting moments that cannot be captured or measured. The laughter that erupts spontaneously, the kindness offered without expectation, the sunset that paints the sky in 1,000 hues. These are the things that enrich the soul and leave lasting impressions far beyond material accomplishments. Life's beauty also reveals itself in resilience and growth. When we reflect on the challenges we have overcome, the lessons we have learned, and the strength we did not know we possessed, we see a hidden elegance in our own journey. Pain, struggle, mistakes, and failure are not just obstacles. They are proof that life is layered, textured, and filled with depth. Appreciating these moments does not mean denying hardship. It means recognizing that beauty often exists alongside struggle, quietly reminding us that every experience contributes to the richness of life. When we cultivate the habit of noticing beauty, we begin to live differently. Gratitude naturally arises, stress diminishes, and joy becomes accessible even in small doses. We develop the ability to see blessings in disguise and recognize that happiness is not distant or elusive. It is already here, present in the moments we often overlook. Life becomes less about chasing perfection and more about embracing what is real, present, and meaningful. The truth is, life's beauty is always around us. It exists in nature, in relationships, in moments of quiet reflection, and in the simple joys we often take for granted. The only thing that changes is our perception. When we open our hearts, slow down our minds, and pay attention to the present, we begin to see that life is not just happening. It is magnificent, miraculous, and deeply beautiful in every ordinary moment.